Hello. Yes. Welcome to round 4 of season 7 of Artito Racing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Flying Sen. I'm joined once again in the commentary booth by Ken Jake, and here we are, Ken Jake. Do you want to tell our viewers which racetrack we're visiting on this fine evening / up, depending on which part of the world you are in?
Exactly. Welcome to a very sunny England, particularly.
It's kind of ironic, isn't it? We're racing in Silverstone without the rain. Like, that is not common, if you ask me. So here we are in Silverstone, and I mean, honestly, Kenjay, I know this car is not really the best with GT4s, but this is an incredible racetrack, and it doesn't matter what cars you put here. I believe they will all go well. Like, Silverstone is just one of those tracks that has the it factor. So it's got some of the most famous corners in all of racing. You've got Copse, you've got Baggett's, Beckett's, Chapel, you've got Stowe, all incredibly fast corners. And while these cars, Ken Jake, may not have the raw downforce of something like an open wheel car, which can really exploit this track, it's something different than what all these drivers have been used to, because normally these cars are used to going around tight, twisty circuits with not as many long, flowy corners. So yeah, what do you think? How do you think our drivers are going to cope, considering the fact that these cars are not really used to these long, fast corners? They're more used to short and fast corners.
Yeah, I believe that maybe power sliding through the corners might not be a good thing.
Well, I don't know. If you manage to power slide in a GT4, I mean, you will have done something extraordinarily wrong, considering they have got built-in traction control, and they're quite well from when I tested it. Not many laps, but it was quite difficult to lose traction in these cars. So I think important to note to our viewers that after a long discussion with the staff team and the rest of the drivers, we have agreed to let drivers change cars starting after next weekend's race. I don't even know where we're racing next weekend, but after next weekend's race, we'll be open to car changes, so the drivers can change their cars once, and then that's it. And second of all, the McLaren will get some sort of penalty. At the moment, it seems like the McLaren will be getting a 10 kilo balance of performance penalty, but we will see what happens. So yes, so Ken Jake, if you want to load up the stream for me, let's see what happens, and let's get this commentary underway as Rohe is going into the club section of the corner now, and we'll set the first flying lap here at Silverstone this afternoon, and the stream is online for me. Take it away, Ken Jake, and let's take this lap away as Rohe begins a hot lap around Silverstone as we go into turn 1.
Yeah, I think it's only fair that we We can see the onboard view from the driver. Here we are at Farm Curve heading into the third corner, if I believe Village corner.
Village. Yes. This corner, turn 3. The one important thing to note to our viewers who may not be as familiar with this racetrack is turn 1 is not really turn 1. You never know. Turn 1's not really a passing opportunity. It's a very fast corner, but it's all about setting up the braking for turn 3 into Village, which is where all the action usually happens. So, yes, let's keep a lookout. Good on that. I feel like Rohit turned in very early there.
Yeah, very early
going into and we're now going to Lovefield, and this one of the two back straights here will now lead us onto Cops Corner. It was the old turn 1, Kendrick, wasn't it? Cops Corner.
Yeah,
as we go through Woodcut now. Yeah, and then Silverstone went through a reconfiguration, I believe, back in like 2010, 11, somewhere around that.
I mean, it is still the first corner for MotoGP.
I believe they're going to change that. Haven't they changed that? I'm not sure. Pretty sure either this season or next season they've gone to... I mean, they raced at Silverstone just a week or two ago, so I'm pretty sure they used the original Hamilton straight as the start-finish line, but that's a story for another day. As Rohit rounds through Beckett, a bit of a scruffy lap so far from our championship leader Kendrick, but thankfully for him there's still 11 minutes left in this session. Let's look at the sector times from Rohit. He has set the fastest sector 1 on this current lap. He set a 34.8. He's the only driver apart from Miko. Miko is just under a tenth of a second slower in the first sector, so yeah, we did see Rohit have a bit of a moment though, didn't we, going into Brooklands? We felt like he turned in quite early, so we will see, and that's part of the middle sector. We'll see what sort of lap time Miko produces in the middle sector. He's still down, so yeah, Rohit putting in a great lap here, and this should he will be the first one to cross the line, so obviously he will be the fastest, but this will be the first proper benchmark for the rest of the field. Here we go, Rohit Robinson, the Iron Jamaican, crosses the line 2 minute 9.5, and I would like to say Kendrick Paul today will be in the low 9s to a high 8s.
Not bad for this caliber of drivers.
Not bad at all. It's a very decent benchmark. Sashikat's just crossed the line into second place, 2 minute 10 flat, half a second off of Rohit, the championship leader. Naf set the fastest final sector. He was 2 tenths up on Rohit in the final sector, but he just lost a lot of time in sector 1 and sector 2. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, so hold on, looking to see where the bus is, who is second in championship. I think he's on his outlap now. So yeah, he's just going through the hangar straight.
He really likes that tight line, does he?
Yeah, well, he's making it work though, Kendrick, isn't he? He's making it work. I mean, Rohit is very good with GT cars, and I'm not particularly the best at them. I'm more into my open wheels, so he clearly knows what he's doing. So, and for him right now, he's on pole position. So whatever he's doing is seeming to be working. So see what happens. Let's go on board with the bus now, shall we, Kendrick? He's going to be starting a hot lap very shortly. See what happens with the bus, and
if I could find him here. There we are.
There we go. He's rounding off the international pit straight, and he would go into turn 1 as he goes down the Hamilton straight, actually. So Asada Corsa needs to clearly correct that as we go into turn 1, as he really sends into turn 1, doesn't he? And then lines it up for turn 2 and assesses up for the braking going into Village. How late is he willing to brake? Let's find out. He brakes reasonably late. He just took the sausage curve on the inside a bit. He's had a bit of a moment there as well. So this lap's a bit of a write-off for Tim Stahl, isn't it? He's going to have to go again. This will not be good enough for anywhere near the front row. But here we are, on board now with Miko. Let's have a look at Miko's sector times and see what he's doing. 35.3 through the first sector. He was 6 tenths down on Rohit through the first sector on his best lap, and he's half a second down. So this lap, unless he's got the final sector of gods, he's not going to be putting himself anywhere near the first. He's not going to be putting himself anywhere near the front row because he's lost a lot of time in the first 2 sectors. So I wanted to note that we've got 16 drivers racing today. Pretty good turnout once again, isn't it, Kenjay, considering we're at the halfway point of the season. So shows that this season clearly is a very competitive one, isn't it, compared to previous seasons, because generally with all leagues the numbers start to tank after about round 3 or 4. So
hey,
here we are.
Yeah, but as you said, we are collaborating with another big server in Assetto Corsa.
Absolutely. Yeah, 2 of the big powerhouses, I believe, especially when it comes to current activity. So yeah, it's an incredible collaboration. Great chance for both servers to kind of improve on their kind of improve on their weaknesses and grow on their strengths, really. So, yeah, great to see. So here we are on board with Miko as he goes on his down the first sector. Let's see what this sector time there is. I like this new graphic you've got, Kenjik, which will give us a sector time directly. He's 3/10 down to the first sector. Not going to be good enough, I think. Yeah. Let's go back on board with the bus, shall we? Because I believe that's the driver I really, really want to see. I know he had a bit of a moment, so let's stay on board with him to see, because he's going to be one to see where he qualifies. Because if Rohe's up there in first and he qualifies anywhere outside the top 3 or 4, that championship is going to be growing more and more. You're going to have to click on the names, don't you? Yeah, and then you'll eventually find them. So, he hasn't set a time yet, Kenjik. Oh, there he is. There we go. Yeah. Here we go. So this time, Kenjik, let's look and find out if here we go. We're back on board with Rohe apparently. Let's see.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Here is Zed, and here's Joshua. Here's the bus. Finally, we've got our man here. So here we go. We're on board with the bus. Second in the World Championship currently as he goes down the Hangar Straight. Not the Hangar Straight. This is the Wellington Straight. Sorry, my bad. I can't. I'm pretty decent with all the corner names and straight names here at Silverstone. Done it so much, but yeah, that's the Wellington Straight. We go into Brooklands. Oh, he's missed the apex at Brooklands, but he's gonna have a nice and square entry to Brooklands, and then hopefully he can have a good exit through there. But he missed the apex there by quite a bit, didn't he? And he's running out of time here, Kenjik. These cars are taking 2-minute lap times, and he's gonna realistically get, maybe considering how many, depending on how much fuel he has, he's only gonna get 2 or 3 more laps at this. So
I think that's the only laps that he need.
Yeah, but he's gonna have to put a decent banker in, which will allow him to kind of really let loose on the final lap. But let's see. Great turnout here, Kenjik. I'm really happy to see the great turnout. We've now got around 16 to 17 drivers, so pretty good field here this evening or this afternoon if you're in Europe. Whoever's tuned in or will be tuning in later on to watch the highlights, thank you very much and appreciate all the support as we're on board with the bus. And
he's stopping on the side. Yeah, he's heading back.
He's gone back in the pits. He needs to really get a move on, because at the moment he's down in 10th place. And I'll be honest, Kenjik, considering the fact he's in 10th after all the mistakes he's had, that's not bad, eh? But clearly, he needs to do something a bit better. Scooby now goes into 3rd place, 8/10 of a second behind Rohe. Rohe's improved his lap time.
Surprising 3rd place for Johannes Kandra.
Yeah, here we go. That's Scooby's real name. But
new names, yeah.
But yeah, look at Rohe Robinson, Kenjik. Look at Rohe, 2-minute 9.1. He's
almost a second.
Yeah, this is crazy. These are spec GT4 cars, Kenjik. He has put some daylight between himself and the rest of the field. Incredible. I mean, I know I think that's Funny Atomic. Yeah, there we are on the side of the track. But Kenjik, I mean, I know we're only at round 4, but we're getting to that point of the season now where we're now starting to look at genuine championship contenders. And I mean, what Rohe seemed to struggle with before, I think you can relate to his consistency around a wide range of tracks. But we've gone to 4 very different racetracks, including the one now, Silverstone. He has been competitive in each and every one of them. And if he can keep this up, Rohe might be in prime position to land his first title. But we've got a long way to go, as you're aware. But anything can happen. But yeah, wow, it's great to see Rohe up there consistently, because we all knew he had the potential. He always struggled a bit with consistency and adapting to new tracks and cars, so he's clearly showed up this season. And honestly, Kenjik, whoever wins that cat improves the lap time to go about just over under 7/10, I would like to say, behind Rohe. But yeah, whoever wins this season, Kenjik, they will be a thoroughly deserving winner considering the competition put in front of them.
Rightly so.
But here we go. We're on board with Scooby as he will end one of his final flying laps this evening for qualifying. He's got the bus right in front of him, Kenjik. So after this lap, let's go on board with Tim Stahl to see what sort of lap time he's doing. Across the line goes Scooby, and that's going to be good enough to put him into 2nd place.
Wow.
Just by the tiniest of whiskers, 3/100ths of a second ahead of Cat. Now the bus is going to get 2 flying laps. He really needs to get this one right, because if he can get this right and put himself up in near the top 3, he can really send it on the flying lap. But at the moment, he doesn't have a good enough banker, and he's going to have traffic in the form of Zet in front of him as well. Zet's currently he's not even in the top 10, so yeah, it might act as a bit of traffic. Thankfully, the GTs don't tend to struggle in dirty air as much, so you can see him flashing the line. Yeah, he's flashing, but if Zet's on a flying lap, he's not entitled to let him pass. I mean, Bus should have known better to probably give himself a bit more spacing, and is that a bit of an experience?
Oh my goodness, it's been bonkers for both of them.
Yeah, but the Bus has really compromised his line. I mean, this is what do you think, Kendrick? A bit of an experience showing from the Bus here, because he has not been able to craft a lap together so far, and he should have given himself a bit more space.
I mean, it's over anticipation.
Yeah, he could have left himself a bit more space, and he's gonna leave himself with one final flying lap, and if he keeps on overdriving, he's gonna find himself starting outside the top 10, which will swing this pendulum massively in the favor of the Jamaican driver. As we go through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel, and yeah, not looking good for him, man. Not looking good for him. Let's go on board with Rohe again, shall we? Let's see what Rohe is up to. I'm going to keep a look at the sector time. So Rohe's just set a 35-1 through the first sector once again. So he's backed off in the middle sector, though, it seems like. So Rohe as well, it seems like we'll get one final flying lap. Scooby once again is improving. He's on a personal best lap here, Kendrick. So let's go on board with Scooby-Doo, the driver in second place, to see what sort of lap time he can muster. He's going to have the Bus in front of him, so let's see if he will get a bit of traffic. Oh, he's going to be right on the apex. That's not ideal. I don't think I'll compromise him that much. He might have lost half a tenth to a tenth. Let's see. The Bus will now begin his flying lap. Scooby, if he wants to continue with it. Yeah, there we go. Here comes Scooby across the line. This is going to be pole position. Oh, 3/10 of a second. He closes that gap big time, though. But now, the Bus right in front of him. Let's go on board with the Bus, shall we? Because now he really has to hook it together. He's going to be under pressure. And yeah, he's down in 8th place currently, but he can do so much better than that. He had that massive moment earlier in Brooklands with Zed, didn't he? So we know that he's got seconds to find. So let's see. 210.3 was his best lap time so far. And one thing I will say, Kendrick, is judging the fact that Scooby is right behind the Bus, that's going to give him a very decent reference as to how his lap time is going, considering that Scooby's on the front row right now, just under 3/10 behind the fastest time. They all seem to turn it very early into Brooklands, don't they, Kendrick? They all seem to be turning it very... Yeah, I wonder if with the GT4s, that is the line to take.
I've only seen it with the McLaren. I haven't seen it with the other drivers who's driving the other car.
Yeah, well, the majority of the field is...
Yeah, it's probably the 10 kilos.
Yeah, I don't believe the VOP is applied, so the VOP is not applied for this weekend. It'll be applied starting round 6, which is 2 more weeks from now.
Okay, I
guess. No, the following time. So here we are, Kenjay. Let's follow what the Bus is up to here. We'll look at the sector times. Let's see what he's up to. 35-1 through the first sector. That is a pretty competitive first sector, Kenjay. If he can just hold this lap together, this should challenge the top 3 positions. Here we go. Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel, which will lead him onto the Hanger Straight. He's gone a bit wide, but I think he kept enough forward velocity to make it work. He's half a second down. This should put him near the top 3. He just needs to make sure not to overdrive this car in the final sector. Here comes the Bus as he sends it into Stowe for the final time in qualifying today. Where will this time put the German driver? Will it put him near his championship rival? Going into club corner for the final time as he lines it up. Brings over left-hand side, try and open up this the penultimate corner rather, as much as possible. And it's pretty much a straight line with a bit of a kick as here comes the Bus across the line. Where is this lap time going to put him?
Oh, not even close to...
He's going to be... Yeah, but I think that's good enough for him. He's on the second row. If he was on the third row or lower, it would have been a lot worse. But I think considering he only had one proper crack at that, I think he will be pretty okay with that lap. But he made his life very difficult that session, didn't he? He made his life a lot more difficult than what it should have been. But here we are. So with qualifying over, anyone's not really going to challenge for the pole position time. So apart from maybe Miko, if he's on a hot lap. Let's see what Miko's up to now. Nah, he's pretty much backed off, so he's going to be starting at 6. So here we are, Kenjay. The grid. Rohey Robinson, pole position. Scooby-Doo second. Cat in third. The Bus in fourth. Naf in fifth. Miko in sixth. G in seventh. Rogers in eighth. Z in ninth. And Joshua Lee in 10th on keyboard and mouse. Pretty impressive. But yeah, that's your top 10, Kenjake. And
yeah, strong pace
now,
from Rohey as usual.
Absolutely. So here we go. Now we get ready for the race, Kenjake. And what are your pre-race predictions? Do you expect to see some shenanigans going into the is it no, not village. Is it turn one? Which corner is it? It's village, isn't it? Yeah, it's village. Turn one. The proper turn one.
Not in bridge, but before the Wellington Straight. The slow corner there might might catch other drivers.
Definitely. So, as we now just patiently await the race, the session ending and taking off into the race. So, yeah, this should be now very, very interesting to see what happens.
I mean, is 208 even possible with these cars?
Yes, it is.
I mean, 209.1 is already itself very impressive.
The boss has said he had a bit of lag issues during that qualifying lap, so we'll see what happens there. Yeah, he said he had a bit of lag spikes, which kind of probably costed him a bit of time there, fair to say. So here we are. Now they're on the grid, Kenjake, and wow, I can't wait. Silverstone starts are always fun because of how fast and open this track is. Turn one and all, not just turn one or turn three rather, all the braking zones. Yeah, because of the short braking zone, drivers tend to get very desperate. There's very big straights which allow the slipstream effect to be very, very large. Yeah, I can't wait. This is going to be great fun. We see Kenjake here quickly sorting out all the apps to give you guys very nice broadcasting, a very nice broadcast experience rather. If you can get the leaderboard out, Kenjake, on the side, that would be kind of nice as well, just to see the gaps between all the drivers during the race.
It will come out eventually.
Okay. So a minute to go to lights out here for round 4.
But rounding it off, I mean, it's very surprising.
What do you think is going?
Yeah.
What do you think is going on in the minds of the drivers right now? Such a long wait between, getting on the grid and the race actually starting. Like,
if you're gonna ask me, I'm
not
used to it.
Knowing it from my league racing days, what I would purely be focused on at this moment is just getting through the first lap. What am I going to do? What if the guy on the inside is going to dive bomb? What is my course of action? That's the thing I'm looking at. And then after lap 1 is when I start to think about, okay, what am I going to do later on in the race? What is everyone around me doing? But here we go. We've got about 10 seconds left for round 4, race 1 to begin, Kenjake. We are back once again. 4, 5, 6 red lights here at Silverstone. And it's go. Rohey will lead them away. And they all seem to get a pretty even start. I think the bus got a relatively better start compared to Slashika. That'll be one to watch going into turn number 1. Can bus? He's going to have to stop right behind, isn't he? As we go into village.
Made contact in this one. McLaren spinning in the background.
Yeah, we've got a McLaren spinning in the background, but we'll keep the focus on the front for now. It seems as though... bus has gone wide. And Naf's going to nab 4th. So Bus has gone wide, but he's going to have the inside going into the loop here. And that's pretty good. I think, Naf around the outside of the loop generally doesn't work, but he should have the slipstream going down the Wellington Straight for the first time. And it's going to be Rohey leading the way. He's got a pretty decent margin, as I think Kat's lining up a move here on Scooby. Is she going to send it down the inside of Brooklands? No, I don't think she's going to be close enough here.
Well, she's going to start
behind, but
Naf's
gone down the inside of Tim Stahl there. And the driver in the second place in the championship not having a great time. But Scooby seemed to have gained a bit of time going into Brooklands there, didn't he? Seems to have closed the gap to Rohey just a bit, but
I saw him maximizing his line there.
Absolutely, as we go down the original pit straight and into Cops for the first time. It's still going to be Rohey leading the way, but Scooby chasing hot on his heels, and Rohey's got big time wide, and he's going to have a bit of a penalty for that because it does slow you down ever so slightly. I love this camera angle. Doesn't really do justice to how fast the cars are really going through there. But as we go into Maggots, Beckett's where they're going through now, and Chapel, this final section. Oh, Scooby's kind of ran tight through Beckett's, and that's going to compromise his line through Chapel, and Slushy Cat's going to be right behind him as we go down the hangar straight. Kendrick, let's go on board with Slushy Cat. I think she might be lining up a move here. There she is around the outside. Oh, still, can she make it stick? Or here we go.
It's quite difficult there.
Yeah, I think Scooby should have the line. He should have the forward momentum. There we go. And this is going to allow Rohe to kind of move away ever so slightly. Cat now lining it up into Village. Oh my goodness.
Very respectful gap from Scooby.
And now around the outside. Here we go. Can she make it?
Not here.
She's gone off the track there. That's going to allow Nap to join the party. Hello, the Season 5 champion. He's going to be on the inside going to turn 1. Not finishing it over, taking place. But he makes it stick. Now, but Cat's going to have the crisscross and the exit. And can she send it down the inside into Village? Here we go. The bus has joined the party as well. And this is now allowing Scooby to run away in second place.
Scratch that, Roy already made a 2-second gap.
Yeah, he has, and now Cat's down to 4th place. Not a great sequence of corners from Slushy Cat. And now the bus is going to be right hot on their heels for 4th place. So, yeah, Cat's lost 2 positions in the space of about 3 corners. And what seems as though what would have been a brilliant move around the outside of the last section of Village has turned down to the absolute agony in the short term for her. Because she's lost 2 positions there, Kendrick.
Yes, exactly. I mean, for me, it wasn't the best of moves or the best of ideal spaces for overtaking.
Not at all. You never make it stick around the outside of Village. It's once again just,
it's
not the best race. Yeah, not the best racecraft, but she seems to have picked up the rhythm once again, and she's going to be right on Nap as we go into Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel. Around the outside of Maggot is initially a left-hander. That's going to give her the outside, but if she can just stay alongside, it'll give her the inside for Brooklyn. Maggot's run. Yeah, Tim Stall's kind of closed up the gap there to Cat. Remember, Cat and Nap are battling. That should theoretically allow the bus kind of to close the gap a bit, so... Meanwhile, the gap up front is kind of stays stationary at 2 seconds. Here we go. Nat going defensive down the hangar straight, going into Stowe for the second time this afternoon. Cat will try to hang it around the outside for the second time in a row, but this time it's on a different driver. Nat will probably give it a good old squeeze. And here comes the bus. I think there was a bit of contact. There was a bit of contact between.
Actually.
There was a bit of contact there, but they will make a stick. G will now look for a move down the inside, but he'll back out a bit. Seasoned veteran, he knows what he's doing. But oh my goodness me, the bus was super tight. G's gonna... G!
Overtake for G! My goodness me!
Where have I seen that before, Kenjek? I remember seeing the exact same move in the real life race back in 2022. He's gonna have the inside going to turn up 1. G's made up 2 spots!
Oh, someone's spinning!
I think that's Rogers. Rogers has gone spinning, yes. Rogers has gone spinning. Cat will try to hang it around the outside. Does a good crisscross
from these guys.
Oh, look at this. This is incredible racing. G will hold it tight around the loop. That will kind of compromise his exit ever so slightly going into Aintree. Kohler down until Wellington straight. Here we go. He's going to have to take a tight defensive line. I think going into Brooklyn's. Can Cat send it down the inside? Or will G try on a tight defensive line? He's leading the inside. Yeah, she's going to send it down the inside, but I think G's thinking about the corner ahead. But that's it. Cat leaves in space. Ever so slightly. There we go. G will now have this. Oh, this contact.
Spinning.
It's gone around. Oh, that was hard racing, and G has tagged Cat around. It's not the first time they've come together, Kendrick. If you remember back to season 5.
Exactly. But it's really tough racing with her, you know?
But for the first time, I think G has come off better after making contact with her. So, oh my goodness me. Kendrick, incredible racing on that one. And look at this, we're not done yet. It's Miko challenging the bus going to Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel.
I am lost for words to know the action.
Absolutely. Rilhe has no idea what's happening behind him. He's too busy doing a Max Verstappen right now, isn't he, this afternoon? He's just chilling out front, 2.2 seconds ahead. But here we go. It's going to be G. Look at the flashing going on from the bus. He's going to go down the inside into Stowe. Can he make it stick? Hold it tight, ladies and gentlemen. Oh! It's a triple McLaren sandwich, isn't it? Right now, we've got three very fast McLarens looking to go wheel to wheel, trying to nab fourth place. It's a brilliant four-way. I think G's missed the corner, hasn't he?
Yeah,
he has.
He missed it well.
Yeah, he missed the corner there. I had a feeling because I couldn't see him come back across the camera towards the corner. So that will now release the bus into fourth place. And now, if he can, we'll try to chase after Nav and try to minimize the damage in race one.
What a brilliant sight for the McLaren boys, considering it is the 60th birthday of Bruce McLaren.
Absolutely. And how incredible of Nav to be dragging that BMW into third place, Kenjake.
Wow, I mean, if he's a godsend if we ask me. That BMW is a handful to drive.
Absolutely. That BMW has no right being in third place, but here we are. Nav is wringing the neck of that BMW to make sure that's anywhere near the top three.
He isn't the Season 5 veteran for nothing.
Exactly. Third season here at Artito Racing from the NAF, and obviously one of our few champions here, so clearly showing why he's a true champion. And yeah, in third place, staying pretty consistent, but the bus has kind of closed that gap ever so slightly. I will expect the bus to get faster as this race goes on, and as race 2 goes on as well, because he has not practiced much around this track. So I expect him to get more acclimatized and yeah, a bit more consistent around this racetrack. Now we're on board with G, who obviously went wide through then, gone wide through cops again. So yeah, self-policing, like we said, you lose a bit of time going wide there. So we're only monitoring Stowe this afternoon. So yeah, kind of a costly mistake from G, isn't it, Kenjake? He made a brilliant double overtake, but then he lost 2 positions by kind of going wide, and pretty much this bit earlier in the corner, because he made the move at the exit of Village the first time, and then he lost it at the entry of Village, didn't he? I think it was on the very next lap. So tale of 2 fortunes, isn't it, for the G? For G.
Exactly.
That part of the track.
It's really hard to keep it clean once you have that initial hit of adrenaline rush of making a double overtake.
Absolutely. What do you think of the chrome livery though, Kenjake, on the McLaren? I think Rohe is rocking it as well, and I think G is rocking it as well.
I think it's amazing. Yeah, I didn't believe it would fit well, but here we are. It's proven me wrong. It's really nice.
Yeah, it actually doesn't look that bad, does it? It actually looks pretty neat, I would say. Yeah, the chrome livery. I would say the chrome livery. The actual Google Chrome livery. I'm not talking about the Vodafone Chrome livery. I think it definitely suits the GT car more than it does on the F1 car, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I feel like it definitely.
I still think.
Yeah, I still think the OG Vodafone Chrome livery is, the best. But
it is top notch. 2008 as well, with all that wing and aero pairings. I love it.
The 2012 McLaren was also quite nice, if you ask me. 2012 McLaren were quite nice. The last year of Hamilton driving, that was also a brilliant silver scheme. But 2007, I kind of grew up watching the silver McLarens kind of being up front. So kind of a shame that they're gone. But
I feel kind of nostalgic on how tiny those cars are back in the 2008s.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Here we go.
Hold that thought.
Rossi
We've got Rashi here. Yeah, the Turkish driver against the where's Suchi from? I can't see the flag. The flag's gone missing. I think that's the Austrian. Isn't that the Austrian flag? I'm pretty sure that's the Austrian flag.
Okay.
I think it's the Austrian flag. You gotta get to.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, they're battling for the minor points paying positions at the moment. Suchi's got 9th place. That gives 2 points. Rashi's got 10, so he's looking to double his points tally at this point in the race. But just not nowhere to get through there. He had a bit of a moment there, didn't he? Going into Maggots and Beckett's, rather, and that kind of compromises his life into Beckett's and Chapel. So not ideal for Rashi, as kind of gives Suchi a bit of breathing space down the Hangar Straight. So let's go on board with Scooby, shall we? Because I've been monitoring that gap. That come down to 1 second. If you remember, Kenjake, that gap was 2 seconds earlier. So actually, let's go on board with the bus, because it seems as though he's right behind Naf. Here we go. This is where the action is. I know G is having a bit of a look into Miko, but this is for the final spot on the podium, and Naf seems to have the legs ever so slightly at the moment. Scooby now sets the fastest lap, Kenjake. Let's go on board with Scooby to see what's happening, because Rohe's pace has seemed to have dropped off a bit, and now Scooby is going to be just charging, and Kat seems to have had another moment, Kenjake, because she was down in 11th. Well, after that spin, she's now down in 14th.
It's probably not her day. Or rather, race
No,
one
it's not
is
been
probably not hers.
Yeah. Oh well, it's the part of hard racing, Kenji. You know, you get raced how you race people, as I always say. So, yes.
Yeah,
Anyways, now we
is
go
that a
on.
sign of a
You go.
rain cloud?
I mean, it is Great Britain, Kenji. If I see a puff of cloud, even a small puff of stratus cloud, I would expect a bit of rain. It is Silverstone. We are near an old airbase. I wouldn't be surprised if we got some rain.
The question is, are we gonna get rain?
I don't think the official weather forecast said it should not rain. But if there's anything flying's ever taught me, is that don't trust the weather forecast. And Rohi's gone wide again. He seems to be struggling for pace at this part of the race, isn't he, Kenjake? So
it's probably a lack of concentration.
One has to wonder if it's just worth for him to go into pits right now, since we're near the halfway point in the race. Allow himself to reset, get himself a nice set of fresh boots, new tires, kind of allow his mind to reset and come back again with the undercut and hopefully in clean air. Because at the moment he's losing way too much time.
If Brohe did decide to dive into the pits, I would think that Scooby would also follow.
You think? I've never been a fan of doing the same strategy as someone. It will always be opposite. It should always be the opposite. I think, none of them are really coming in, but I always think you should do the opposite. Because there's no point just following the strategy of another driver, especially if you're the driver behind. Because that kind of limits what you can do. If you see the driver in front of you pit, you might as well stay out an extra lap or 2, or even 3 for that matter, and allow yourself to get fresher tires towards the end of the race, where you can really start to make a difference with a more rubbered-in track. So that's my thought process, and we've seen Lewis Hamilton make that work quite a bit in the past. They do that quite a bit in NASCAR as well, where they kind of extend their stint if they've got track position, or if they're behind and they can see the driver in front is clearly faster, and allow themselves to get fresher rubber towards the end of the race when the track's more rubbered in. So generally there's no point following the strategy, but we'll see what Scooby does. He has lost a bit of time on this lap, so let's go back on board with Tim Stahl, shall we?
Okay, speaking of strategy, what do you think is the right call for this track? It's a big track with a very, very long pit lane.
It's a very, very long pit lane, Kenjake, absolutely. So what you will be looking at here is trying to minimize your fuel time as much as possible. The best way to probably do that would probably be to pit towards the end of the race, because that also means that you will have less fuel to put into your car at the end of the race, or you can also do it at the start of the race. So, because if you do a slam dunk in the middle and you start with a bit of less fuel on board, it means you have to put a bit more extra fuel into the car. So, considering it's a very long pit lane, you would probably want to pit as late as possible. So we'll see what the drivers choose to do this afternoon. But as you can see, the bus is really trying to play some mind games. He's really playing some mind games against some of these. He's afraid to get his elbows out, is he, with some of these seasoned grizzled vets? He's getting stuck in. He knows what to do.
I might be called a hypocrite because of this statement, but I really don't like flashing other people. If I'm doing it, I like doing it. But watching other people do it, I don't want it.
Oh, mate, you need to watch some VX supercars. But here we go. The bus is in the slipstream. He's going to pull out of the slipstream. He's going to go into stow. Looking to go side by side. Naf just positions his car absolutely perfectly. But he's going to skid wide ever so slightly. He had a bit of a moment there through the exit of stow. And bus is going to be around the outside going into village. Can he make a stick in the McLaren? The McLaren has got incredible cornering ability. But Naf really brake late, but he's overshot the corner. The bus can kind of square off the exit and try to get the speed overlap, but not on that occasion. Brilliant defense from Naf. Brilliant defense from Naf, isn't it? Made that stick somehow. And while all that's been happening, look who's joining the battle, Miko. So the bus really needs to get this move done fast, or else Miko's going to be hot in his heels. And it's one of those things where you either pass the driver in front, or you're going to get past yourself.
If I was Tim, I would do the deep now as early as possible.
Here we go, now really the inside. Bus sends it. There you go, into the loop, and he's made the corner. He's made a stick. They're gonna go side by side down the Wellington split.
Wow.
Oh, Naf's gone wide though. Naf's gone wide. Oh, I thought he was gonna collect the right rear quarter panel of Bus. Bus is gonna go down the inside, protecting the bloopers. Miko's kind of sizing up too. He can pick up 2 for the slice of 1. Can he make it stick? No, Naf regains his position, but Bus is gonna have the outside going into Lafayette. Can he make it stick with the crisscross?
G as well joining the party.
Yeah, G as well. It's gonna be a 4. Oh my god, Yeah, Naf better not look in his rear view mirrors. He's gonna have 3 angry McLarens right behind him, Kenjay.
He's being hounded right now. That's
Incredible defense from Naf. Absolute incredible defense from Naf, considering how utterly bad that BMW is, with all due respect.
Yeah, I mean, he's holding on to that third place like it was her own.
As we can see, Scooby and Rohe running their own race at the moment. The Grizzle vets kind of showing why they are the vets, aren't they, Kendrick? Those two up front, showing that experience kind of does have a role to play. But as there we go on the exit of
those 3 McLarens.
Here we go. Bus is once again on the outside of Stowe. Can he make a stick this time around? Will Naf once again try and just send this car down the inside and let it run out wide? I think he will, but he's gonna leave Bus so slightly enough room on the exit, which will give him the inside going into village. And if he's brave enough on the brakes, this should be a relatively easy overtake. Here we go. Is Naf gonna try to hang it around the outside? Yes, he is, and he somehow makes it stick. He was really tight going into there, but yeah. As G and Mika are both pitted, so we can see those 2 cars peeled off while we were busy following this battle. But yeah, the bus has made a stick. Incredible clean racing, Kendrick. Shows that it can be done.
Yeah, goes to show it can be done in that corner then.
And that's a rookie and a seasoned veteran who made it work. So
yeah, goes to show it's just all about track intelligence then.
Absolutely. So I did say to you, let's go on board with Scooby now. Look at that gap. It's 0.3 of a second, Kenjay. It has really closed up. These two have been hounding. Yeah, something happened. These two have been going at it the whole race, Kenjay. And once again, it's... Oh, he's running a really high line. He's going to try to square up the exit as much as possible.
Hold on.
As we've got a temporary... pause on the broadcast. Here we go, it's back on again. So
yeah, something happened with Rohe there, or is it just Scooby's pure pace that made him
hard to say. I mean, we had this happen earlier, didn't it, Kendrick, where Scooby kind of closed the gap to about half a second, but he kind of dropped back a bit again. And he's closed the gap back down to half a second. I don't think these cars suffer from thermal degradation as much. So interesting to see how he can close the gap to half a second. You see it's happening again where he gets close, but he can't get close enough. It's the age-old saying, isn't it, Kendrick? Catching is one thing, passing is another.
Yeah, passing is another form of art in motorsports, and
absolutely. And we've got 6 minutes left on the clock right now. So it'll be interesting to see when these two... Here we go, Scooby's in the pit lane. Scooby's going for the undercut, isn't he? The Indonesian driver is going for the undercut. Let's see if it will work for him. Will Rohe respond on the next lap? We shall find out. But Scooby is in the pit lane. Very long pit lane here, Kendrick, isn't it?
Yeah, very, very long for my taste.
We were just discussing.
I could sip tea for this.
Yeah, it's a 60 km/h pit lane. Very, very long. So, well, let's see where Scooby rejoins the race. We will keep a good eye on the. We'll keep it. Yeah, he's out. Like I said, if you pit late, you don't have to put as much fuel into the car. So he's out. I'll keep monitoring the sector tires. Ideally, sector 2 and 3 as well, to see if to see what's happening. But
nice.
As the bosses got.
It's a nice pit stop for Scooby. He didn't really lose any position there.
Yeah, he's back in second place, isn't he? So he really hasn't lost much at all. So
I wonder how this will play out for Rohe.
It's going to be very interesting to see. I'm going to keep monitoring the sector times at the moment. Just important to note that obviously the bus is not a factor in this race at the moment.
Not
at
yet,
this current
at
point.
least.
Not yet, at least. You never know. But he's at the fastest sector 1 of the race so far, 34.8, which should be worth keeping an eye on, especially for race 2. Like I said, I do expect him to get faster as the race goes on. It's only natural for a guy to get faster as the weekend kind of builds on a track he doesn't have much experience on. But Scooby at the moment is 26 seconds behind, as he's just begun his second sector. He's begun his second sector. Rohe will be ending his second sector very, very shortly to see. I will see what successful sector times he can put in through sector 2, and then we can have a bit of a gauge to see what Scooby's doing as well. But I think the bus may have had a moment, Kenjay, I think the bus had a moment because Naf's back in third. So if you notice on the leaderboard. So the bus must have had a moment in that race, or earlier in the lap rather. But correction. Rohe's done a 58.3 through the second sector. Let's see what Scooby's doing. They were about 7 to 8 tenths apart at the start of the lap as Rohe's into the pit lane, and Scooby, let's look at the sector time here. 58.4. He's a 10 slower, Kendrick. He's a 10 slower through the middle sector than Rohe, but we know that you can gain so much time going into the pit lane because it's a 60 kilometer per hour pit lane here, which means that you can make an even bigger difference on the brakes. So let's see where. No, I think he's got his pit box is all the way at the front. He's got a pretty much straight exit. There he goes.
Like I said, wow.
Yeah, like I said, when you pit that late, you really don't have to put in much fuel, and he's come out with an even bigger lead, Kenjay. And this race win is pretty much secured now. Look at the gap he's got.
11 seconds. Huge gap.
He has somehow increased his gap by 1,000%.
Yeah, strategy.
How has he managed to do that? How has he managed to do that? I do not know, but wow, Rohe, for all the criticism Rohe got in pre-season from ourselves about not being able to finish off races, for not being able to make the strategy right, he's answered all those questions, hasn't he, so far this season? And he's well on his way now to getting another. Is it fair to say feature race win now, Kenjay? Is it fair to call this a feature race if we're going to actually have a sprint race? Anyways, he's well and truly on his way to gain another race win for race 1, and we all know that race 1 pays off the most points. So there'll be 2 laps to go at the end of this one.
I'll tell you what, though, I think Rohe is just responding with all the criticisms we're giving him.
Nah, and I'm more than happy to see that, Kenjay, because it wasn't a jab, it was true. He was struggling in the previous season, and even in the preseason test races, he had the pace, but he was struggling to close the show. But from what we've seen,
you can visually see the gap in this camera.
Yeah, he can chill. He's got 2 laps. He's got 2 laps to go at the end of this. Like, he can afford to lose 2 or 3 seconds a lap and still have a comfortable run to the line. So, key shout out to Slushy Cash. She's done quite well to get back into 5th place after that little moment she had with G. So I think Kat may have pitted after that moment, and then kind of given herself some clean air and get back up in the fight. So
he has pitted already in lap 3.
Yeah, she has. So like I called out, like I told you, that she must have pitted, or she should have pitted rather, straight after that incident, just to give herself a bit of time to regroup and come out of fresher tires with an undercut. And she has made it work. As we look down the field towards the middle of the points now, we've got Miko defending against Julia Brown defending against Miko. Yeah, I was gonna say, but here we go, Miko around the outside. Can he make a stick? Not on this occasion against the Hong Kongese driver. What is Hong Kongese term? Anyways, down the inside. Can he send it? Not really. Okay, I guess I gotta get my geography knowledge checked as well, Kenjay.
in the ASEAN region, probably.
Oh my goodness me. Well, it's a true world championship, isn't it? It's a true world championship. But here we are. So 2 laps to go, and Miko trying to get 6th place and an extra 2 points, I would like to say, in this race. Can he send it down the inside? Going into village? Not on this occasion. Julia runs a tight defensive line, but that's kind of going to leave him vulnerable going into the Wellington straight as we round the loop for the penultimate time for either one of these drivers, for both drivers rather. As we go entry down the Wellington straight, is it going to be enough? No, it's not too far back. DRS and GT cars, considering they don't have much slipstream.
The GT3 RS does have DRS. The Black Series also, the GTR Black Series also have DRS. But
are they allowed to use it? Are they allowed to use it in the race though?
No. I mean, with the road cars they have, but I don't think the GT3 homologated cars doesn't have them. But what is happening at the moment with Miko and Julia Brown? I think it's lag.
That was a bit of a lag spike, and Miko, with all his experience, chose to leave a bit of room for Julia Brown on that occasion to make sure that he had enough space down the inside, and kind of made sure by positioning his car slightly wider that the net code wouldn't catch him out. Fair play from the veteran, but yeah,
slowing down. Is he out of fuel?
Well, probably maybe a slowdown. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's probably a slowdown. She is still moving. It's probably a slowdown.
She's still moving. but we had a slowdown penalty as she will go side by side with Miko. Miko and Slushy Cat going side by side. Aston driver against the Mercedes driver.
This isn't something that Miko would want to have.
Oh my god, as we go into down the hangar straight into Stowe, hold tight. He's gonna send it down the inside. Oh, Miko's a seasoned veteran. He knows what he's doing. I hope.
Final lap now.
Final lap. Rohit begins the final lap, 7 seconds in the lead. He's pretty much got this race well and secure, but this is where the action is for 5th, 6th, and 7th. Who's going to finish in the top 5 and in which order? Joshua Lee is undeserved into the battle as well, but Julia Brown's getting a bit of with Sashi Cat and Miko battling. It's given her, or him rather, a bit of more extra breathing space. So see what happens as we go into turn 1 for the final time for this race. Remember, we've still got the reverse grid race for the top 10 coming up, which should mean G will be on pole position. One to look out for as Cat runs a tight defensive line. No, she's going down.
Contact between the two drivers. Joshua Lee also takes advantage of it. Wow.
That was a very, very late dive bomb. That was so late. Wow. Okay. Now we wanted to look.
Yeah, that just happened.
That's one to look into in the post race, but I mean, it's quite obvious from that camera shot, Kenjik, who was at fault. That was a dive bomb from a million miles back. And what was it I said at the start of this race, Kenjik? Look out for the dive bombs, especially considering it's not a very slow speed corner. Less time on the brakes means you will start to get more desperate, and there you go, called it. I mean, I would like to say I told you so, but anyways, let's go on board with Rohei, shall we? While this battle kind of fuses up. Not at all. As we go on board with Rohei, here he is as we go down as he goes down the hangar straight for the final time in race 1 and into Stowe. And what a drive this has been for the McLaren driver, Kenjek. And like we said, he is answering all the critiques who said he cannot finish off races. He's showing now that he is very much a force to be reckoned with this season, as Rohei will go into club and just for the final time, and it's going to be Rohei Robinson, the championship leader, extending his championship advantage as he comes across the final turn to win race 1 here at Silverstone. An incredible drive from the McLaren driver, incredibly calm. He had pressure from Scooby this span here in 2nd place. He gave it his best shot, not enough on this occasion. Naf will barely hold for the final spot on the podium in the BMW. What a great drive from him, as it seems as though Joshua Lee and Miko are having an incredible ding-dong battle here as we go into Village for the Club for the final time. Miko running a tight defensive line. Can Joshua Lee get the exit? Can he square off the exit? Not enough. He's not going to have enough of an exit advantage there, and Miko will find a way to keep his 5th place. That was an intense. I feel like that race was a tale of 3 tales, Kenjake. We had the start of the race, which was really intense, and the middle it kind of died off a bit, and then it came alive again in the last 2 laps.
Zed in crazy place, wow.
Zed gets a point. Maybe more, depending on how far behind he was on Cat after that. So, Suchi in 11, Rashi will come home in 12th, as it sees Clyde in 13th, and Vanya Atomic in 14th, and Rogers in 15th.
I'll tell you what, though. NAF defense is really amazing that he made it. We made it that far.
We've got a Philippines Minister of Defense, aka you. We've got an Indonesian Minister of Defense, Scooby. The man is 2nd. We may have a Bruneian Minister of Defense after this race. I don't know how he made that work, but incredible. As we see Rogers now coming across the line.
It gives you nostalgia of what the race I did in Daytona. Yeah, take it away for this first race then.
Incredible. So, as the race finishes, like we discussed, Rohei with a full bag of 25 points. He will not get the... Will he get the... No, he will not get the bonus point for the fastest lap. That will go to the way of Scooby-Doo. But Rohei will pick up an extra bonus point for pole position. Scooby-Doo, like we mentioned, will get 18 points and another additional one for the fastest lap. Naf running on the final spot on the podium. Incredible outing from the BMW driver. One to look out for if he does choose to go into the McLaren for the next race. The Bus in 4th. I expect him to be a lot more competitive in the 2nd race. Miko in 5th. Joshua Lee in 6th. Julia Brown 7th. Cat in 8th with a penalty coming our way most likely. G in 9th. Also most likely a penalty coming his way. And Z in 10th. incredible. And Zed might pick up quite a few points here, Kenjay, considering if the two drivers in front of him get penalties. But yeah, just giving Rohit a thumbs up to qualify to start the next race because yeah, F1 IRL F1 will be starting reasonably quickly. And are you excited about qualifying, Kendrick? It seems as though Ferrari might be able to nab a pole position today and give themselves.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat this once again. I want Ferrari to win.
Could you imagine the scenes of Ferrari get pole after the season that Red Bull have had? The scenes at Monza would be absolutely insane.
I would love to have a go and watch them once more.
Second screen is available, by the way.
Yeah, second screen is already up.
Oh, lovely. Lovely job. Thank you. We got a Hydro voice review once again on commentary. Good.
Alright, here we are.
NJ, like I have a bit of news. You know how it's normally meant to be top 10 reverse grid?
Yeah.
Somehow it's the whole grid. Oh, it's the whole grid.
Wow. Then it's really big news for the guys at the back. Then I guess it's to spice things up.
Second, just taking care from Silverstone.
As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the second screen is now available. At the bottom
Indeed
left
it is. So 30 seconds to the start of race 2, and well, we've got a full reverse grid race, Kenjake, and if we thought race 1 was entertaining, buckle in, because this one's going to be even more exciting. And yeah, here we go. It's going to be Rogers on the front row, Kenjake. Oh boy. We all know how
to see.
We all know how racy he can get when he's defending positions. So he is known as the Swiss Minister of Defense. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen, once again for race 2 for the final time here at Silverstone. It's go.
As he comes up, and there's 3 wide already at the back. Oh my goodness me! Where is all the action? There we go. As Rogers still defends on Barnian. There's quite a lot of things going on at the back as they go 4 wide into the loop. 3 wide rather, heading into the Wellington straight. Zed is sliding all over the place, and Naf has made contact at the back. Tim Stahl really getting his elbows out. What a sight to see. There's plenty of McLarens at the back. Yeah, I think almost everybody's getting way unscathed. So we go 2 wide into left field. Tim Stahl is really bringing out his elbows. Any news from Flying Saint? Is he still there? Is he not there? I need to know because I'm really struggling for commentary here because there's plenty of action everywhere. I don't know where to start. And I think it was Rohe. Yeah, Rohe cutting multiple corners there because of being sketchy.
But yeah, he's back. Look at this. He's in 10th place. That's incredible. Someone's gone off.
Zed has gone off. As well as
I think that's Bust as well.
no, it was
I think the best Bust.
it was
Scooby.
Yeah.
Scooby as well. Incredible. The bus is gone as well. Look at him. The bus is down in 11th. And all of a sudden, Kenjake, Rohe is going to have an even bigger points lead. Incredible. And you see an incredible battle now going on into 3rd place. G running, I think G just passed Rashi going into turn number 1 and he's going to be up into 3rd place. Look out for G. He had pretty decent pace in practice and yeah, generally the reverse grid race tends to suit him as Julia Brown sends it down the inside of Cat. These two, they are running very close again. Look who's right behind them. Join this party. Let's go on with Rohe Robinson, shall we, to see what how is he going to find. He's fighting through the field like a hot knife through butter this afternoon in race 2. They're going to get 3 wide down the Wellington straight into Brooklands. Rohe's going to have the perfect seat for this. Here we go. Can they keep it clean? Julia Brown down, Cat's in the middle, Rashi's on the outside. And Rohe's going to pick up one of them. He's going to pick up Rashi. No, that's Suchi rather. He's going to pick up Suchi there. I think he should have the exit overlap around the outside, and yeah, I think he does, but they're going to go side by side of the cops, I think, and one of them will have to yield. We know 2 into 1 does not go through there. Cat and Julia Brown are going to go side by side of the cops as well. Hold your breath, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Is someone going to yield? They made it stick. They made it stick somehow. Oh, Mika's going to try to make it. Mika's trying to make it cut 3 wide, maybe into Magus Beckett and Chapel. No, not on this occasion, not enough. And Rohe, I think, should have done enough to get into 7th place reasonably clean. Now he's going to set his sights on Julia Brown and Cat. He has the pace over those 2 drivers in front of him. So now he's going to set his sights on the 2 in front. And I would like to point out, Kenjake, Rogers has got a 3-second lead right now.
I know.
Could this be the day?
Could this be the day? Probably. I'm very well hoping for it. Could this be the day?
That could this be the day that Roger Keller, the long time Artito racer, finally gets his first win. We are getting ahead of ourselves. We're only at the end of the 2nd lap, and we're not even at the end of the 2nd lap yet. But he's 4 seconds ahead.
I'll tell you what, I'm all in full support for him out there.
Absolutely. And there we go. What's his lap time there, Kenjik? I cannot tell, but it seems as though Cat has found a way past Rashi into 4th place. So Cat also will have something to say about that come the end of the race. You know, she'll be fired up after the previous race. But here is the Swiss driver, the McLaren driver. As we see Rohe down here. My goodness, he can drop a blanket over those 4 drivers. Rohe will try. Oh my goodness, they're running so tight. There's contact. There's contact between the 2 McLarens who were in the middle and the top. My goodness, Rohe is going to have to try to keep it incredibly clean. Naf will try to send it down. He said, where's Naf joined the party from? He was down. He had a moment into Stowe earlier in the race, Kenjake, and somehow he's back into this battle.
Exactly.
Look who's back into the battle as well. The bus is back in this battle as well.
Everybody's finding their way back home then.
Oh my goodness me, I forgot how chaotic full reverse grid races are, Kenjak. You have to wonder if it's worth bringing it back.
I love it. I would love to bring it back.
Absolutely. Let's go more with G now, shall we? G's kind of hounding Vanya Atomic for 2nd place. Here we go. I think G is going around the outside. Vanya Atomic are running a tight defensive line. G will have the exit into Cops and he will try to make it sting into Maggots, Beckers and Chapel. Sashi Cat right behind. Let's not forget that Cat and G had a bit of a moment earlier in race 1. So Atomic putting up a decent fight here, isn't he?
Yeah, that is true. He's really getting ever so close to Vanya, and I would love to make him. I would love to see that move on Corpse Corner.
Rohe had a moment there, Kendrick. Look at that. He's down in 11th place. He must have, he had a bit of a moment there. And now he's starting to put the pressure on the bus again. But Oh my god, this is action everywhere you look. Rogers is doing a Verstappen right now, Kendrick. The gap he's got.
He's running
As
away with the
Roy
race.
said-
Clearly has the pace, while all these good drivers at the rear, these experienced drivers are getting keep that bay because of all the action.
Like I said, Kendrick, overtaking would be very difficult. That's Roy's still in
yeah.
lane. And they're all going into pit landing rashly.
Suchi and
Oh, the bus.
the bus, yeah.
Oh, the bus. The bus and Suchi have gone around. Not ideal for those two. I think there was contact there. And yeah, they've gone around. Not ideal. But a lot of drivers are pitting here, Kendrick. And there's Vanya Atomic pitted as well. Or how's Cat up in second?
I believe.
Or has G pitted?
I believe.
Oh, here we go. Oh my goodness, G and Cat, let's follow this battle. They're really getting their elbows out here. Cat down the inside into the loop, and she makes it stick. G kind of gave it a good squeeze going to turn one earlier. Remember, these two have history not just from previous season, but they've got history from earlier in race one as well. And you know, racing drivers have got the memories of what's something that has a very big memory. I don't know.
Goldfish joke.
Oh, this is
What a send!
down the inside. Kind of saw that coming in. He absolutely sent that McLaren down the inside of Brooklyn's. Wow.
What a send from the Australian, isn't it?
Yeah, great spatial awareness.
And
Great spatial.
he's flying away. He's heading to Hogwarts.
What? Cat's gone.
Yep. Disconnection, I believe.
Oh dear. This race has gone from bad to worse for Slushy Cat. Oh no.
It took the Hogwarts Express.
No, I think she's back. Look at that. I think she's back. Look at that. She's back in second place.
Yep.
Wow, my goodness. We've had this race reminds me a lot of Phillip Island with all the chaos. And look at that. Rogers is gone.
I would love if we wouldn't talk about Phillip Island.
that was quite the race to commentate, wasn't it, Kendrick?
I didn't even talk for the whole race there.
Oh my goodness me. But yeah, I think let's keep an eye on this. Let's keep an eye on this battle between G and Cat, because I think this has a potential to really first give some fireworks. As we see Nap sending it down the inside of Vanya Atomic, really reasonable move, but Vanya Atomic with the crisscross comes back. Yeah, but Nap's gonna have the inside going into the final part of the club corner. So Vanya Atomic finds a way back into fourth place. Wow, great defense there from the Serbian driver, I would like to say.
And as we say that, Rogers with a 9-second gap away from Cat.
I did point that out, Kendrick. 9 seconds. That is a big gap.
And Vanya, I think, made a mistake there.
Yeah, Vanya's gone wide there.
Fell to 6th place.
Yeah, 2 positions lost with that little mistake. So Zed's left the server. So Zed's pretty much out of this race now. But here we go, back on board. Let's go back on board with G, because I think the McLaren and him should have the pace around this track. So, like I said, potential fireworks here incoming with these two. And you know it'll be ringing hot on the head of G with the moves he makes on the racetrack. So
I wouldn't say fireworks. I would say atomic bomb is about to be brewed.
We already had one in race 1. We had one earlier with the dive bomb that G did, and I have a feeling that the next one's going to be even bigger. So 15 minutes to go on the clock, and Cat is gained 2/10 on the lap, but with G closing in and the potential for those two to battle, I want these two to battle, Kendrick. I really do. I want that Rogers to get an even bigger lead, because why not? Might be slight commentator's bias, but it would be incredible to see Rogers get a win finally.
Even without the bias, I would fully support him in this race.
Absolutely. Cough. Artito Racing commentary always gives me the cough. Incredible. But, yeah.
You should send me that burger some other time then.
I was watching Joshua Lee rather. Now I'm going back on board with G. Got the onboard footage now. I'm looking at Hydro screen. Just looking at the... Cat seems to have opened up that gap ever so slightly. I think G's kind of driving with a bit of emotion right now. He just needs to take a bit of a deep breath, come back to the moment, and just focus on the job in hand rather than try to prove a point here. Because, yeah, he's really driving aggressive. Cat, yeah, track limits there from Cat, Kendrick. Got me one to look at after the race, because I'm noticing Cat running what?
It's very big.
Noticing Cat running Yeah, and that kind of running wide on a lot of these corners now. So, yeah.
Those extensions are getting filthy and filthy by the minute.
Absolutely, they are. But yeah, Cat's kind of. Oh, G's made G's made a little more. I'm telling you, Kendrick, he needs to calm it down a bit.
Yeah, I mean,
It looks like
he's really chasing down Cat.
Yeah, he looks like he's just overdriving the car a bit. I mean, you can't overdrive a car. If you feel like you don't have the pace, you've still got one more pit stop to do. Think about the pit stop rather than trying to make this move on track. It's just a bit of part of racecraft and race IQ, which I know G has, but just feel like he's driving with his emotions a bit ever so slightly, which is, pretty easy to do with someone like Cat, who is, quite volatile on the racetrack. And so, but yeah, he's going to have to just take a big deep breath here because, he has the pace. I honestly think he has the pace to go and make Roger's life and his first win in Artito a lot harder. But yeah, he's still got an Aston Martin in his way right now before that. So he needs to focus on that first, and then if he takes care of this, he can start to make his way after Rogers. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, if I was G, I would just erase Cat from my field of view and just focus on my own pace and my own lights.
Absolutely, and I think if he does that, Kenjek, he does have the pace. Judging by qualifying, and it's pretty fair to say that McLaren is a bit faster as well. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But I think Cat had a bit of a more tight defense, a bit of a higher line. They kind of want to compromise her exit. And G will find about a 10 to through to that section of the track as we go into Club once again, and G's once again is just using that McLaren's front end rotation to really start to close in once again. So this time Cat keeps it within track limits, so that's good. As we go once again down the Hamilton straight with 12 minutes left on the clock. And this is the closest battle on the racetrack as Suchi now dives into the pit lane. Keep an eye on that. But here we go, G potentially lining up a move down the inside. Thinks better of it this time around, but kind of dummied Cat into thinking that he was going to make the dive bomb, and that kind of left Cat out of position going into Village, and that's going to compromise her line going into entry and down the Wellington straight, and it's going to compromise her exit ever so slightly, and that's going to allow G to kind of close in ever so slightly with the slipstream. Let's not forget, these cars are not as sensitive in the slipstream, less aero, but yeah, that's what I want to see from G. Bit more racecraft. That was good. Look at the amount of time he made up on the brakes. Insane.
I like the wider line that G is taking. It's much more easier for the tires.
Absolutely, much more wider. You're shortening up the corner as much as possible. It also allows you to get a brilliant exit down the straight, which is more likely, which is most likely to give you a better exit down the main straight and allow you to make an overtake, because it's even more vital in these cars where the slipstream is not as evident that you need to really prioritize your exits as much as possible. But here we go into Maggots, Beckett and Chapel once again. So yeah, it seems as though at this point in the race, Cat is struggling ever so slightly. G once again hot on the heels. Yeah, G's gonna have to start playing a bit of games with Cat here, try and dummy some moves, kind of leave her out of position, because it seems as though this afternoon catching is one thing but passing is another. You can see G now starting to flash the light as well.
Yeah. Here comes the mind games then.
Yeah, once again you see him kind of dummying Cat into running a very tight defensive line, and you can see once again G's really good on the brakes, and it seems as though Cat's going in the pit lane, and Cat's gonna get the undercut here rather, so G's gonna make the overcut work. It's gonna be interesting to see if G on right now can make this overcut work. How long is he willing to go? 9 minutes left on the clock here, Kendrick. While all this has been happening, Rogers is still 9 seconds out in front.
Exactly, I don't know how he's still holding up, but I guess his lap times are very consistent. Look at that, he's like a stopwatch right now.
Yeah, he's doing 2:10s. Everyone behind him is also doing 2:10s, Kendrick. Everyone behind him is still doing 2:10s. He's doing just enough with 9 minutes to go to be closing in. And there you go, G's made a very vital mistake there, and that's going to cost him a lot of time in Sector 1. As we see Nico, that's the fastest lap, Kendrick, 2:09.9. Rogers is pretty much running the pace as everybody else right now, and our track position is in his favor, and we are getting to that stage in the race now, Kendrick, where pitting late means that he will have put even less fuel compared to drivers who pit earlier than him, for example Cat. So his main competition right now is G. Because Kat's kind of taken herself out of the equation. She's probably had to put in more fuel in the car. She's pitted a lot earlier. So
Yeah,
we will see where that brings Kat out, depending on how much fuel or how much fuel she's put into the car at the start of the race, and then how much fuel she just put in now in the car. So we'll see that in due time. But I mean, I'll be very surprised if Kat can find 10 seconds. She's made that sort of strategy work before, though. If you remember back to her preseason test race in the Imola, so we'll find out. But like you see, Kendrick, I said, G's had a few moments there, and that gap is now was hovering over 10 seconds, but yeah, it's back under 10 seconds, ever so slightly.
Yes. Rogers is holding on for dear life there, so all he has to do is just to drive very cleanly. That's all he has to do.
Absolutely.
No dramas.
No dramas. And we could potentially be talking about the Swiss driver getting his very first win here at Artito Racing, and my goodness, wouldn't that be a popular win?
Yeah, it's just like watching Roger Federer as always.
Yeah, as always. But here we go, back on board with the bus. Not had the best weekend. He's had a bit of a humbling, hasn't he, this evening, Kendrick? He was pretty consistent in Bizarro and pretty good at the Nordschleife and on course to win at Monza. But yeah, Silverstone kind of a bit bringing him down to earth a bit. That, you know, he's got a bit of learning to do still, and the learning curve is going to be steep. He's up against some of the best drivers in this part of the world. So yeah, still a pretty decent showing. And he can still be.
Yeah, I'll tell you
Yes,
what.
Kendrick.
I mean, pace is one thing, but experience is a whole different game.
Racecraft and experience, absolutely. G's gone into the pit lane, Kendrick, so let's keep monitoring that gap between Kat and G to see where Kat will rejoin in relation to G. So I think Kat will.
Kat's in fourth place.
Kat's gonna make it work.
Yeah.
Kat's made it work. Kat's made the undercut work somehow. G, I don't know what's up with G. I think G's had the pit stop bug again.
No,
Does
he's
he? No, he's
moving
back
out.
out on
He's
the pit.
moving out, yeah.
How has he lost that much time in the pit lane?
I would like to think that the others have not pitted yet.
Yeah, but G and Kat were battling just a few laps ago. And now look how much further behind G is. So interesting to see.
Wow, Rogers is just extending and extending. I believe he has to.
Yeah, let's go on board with Miko now, shall we? Let's go on board with Miko, because I think if Rogers comes out in this group here, it'll be a three-way fight between these three for the win. Let's not forget Julia Brown and the bus are yet to pit. So the main context of this race is Slushy Cat is the first driver to have pitted. She's done her mandatory pit stop. Miko is the second one on the road. You're looking at effective P2 and P3 here. Rogers in first place, has the track position, has the gap, but he's yet to pit. And it's going to be very interesting to see when he does peel into the pit lane, which is going to be either this lap or the next lap, where he comes out in relation to the two here on the screen.
I would love to think that he would pick the pit in the next two laps.
Yep.
Just to
So
extend
let's
it
see.
a bit.
He's got about a 27 to a 28 second lead over Slushy Cat at the moment. That is a very big gap. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens when he does peel into the pit lane. And he's done another 2:10.8. Wow, he's really been consistent today.
Yeah, human stopwatch. If I just tell you, and Navas made it.
Nav's made it as well. So.
Yeah.
Miko's gonna have to keep a good lookout behind him, because Naf is about half a second behind. So apologize for my coughing. My cough's still not improved. So hopefully in the coming weeks, for my sake, for your guys' sake, and especially my sake, that it gets a bit better. So as you see, Kendrick, 2 minute 10, they're kind of holding station at the moment, aren't they? Rogers is kind of just maintaining that gap. So here we go. Now we get a clear indication of the race.
How did she make it work?
She's made it work somehow. I'm telling you, she's pretty good with the strategy stuff. Yeah, she puts in the work prior to the race, and yeah, 28 seconds. This is pretty much the battle for the win, and it's going to be either a 2 or a 4-way battle for the win. So let's go on board with Rohei now, shall we, really quickly, while this kind of takes place, to see, can we see Rohei closing in on Scooby? These two are fighting for the win in race 1. They've kind of reversed the roles, but this time it's P6 in race 2. So thankfully for them, not as many points on offer in race 2, but because they're running a bit further down the pack. But as we know, Kendrick, every single point in a championship is critical. Just ask Felipe Massa
Oh my
for the
goodness
whole
me.
track of Singapore 2008. So yeah, every single point matters right now. So
He's
it's going to be
taking it to
especially for.
court.
But yeah, once again, Kendrick, this is going to be an incredible point outing. Look at where the bus is. He's down in 11th place. He's
Right,
going to be
I
not
was
scoring
about to
any
mention it
point.
as well.
He's again going to be out of the points. Once again, Rohe is going to gain about 4 to 5 extra points and the points he gained in race 1. So wow, he's going to really open up that gap.
Rogers in the pits.
Rogers is in the pit lane. This is where we find out who's going to win this race. There he is. Rogers has peeled into the pit lane. I hope for his sake he doesn't get any form of speeding penalty. Cat is going down the Wellington straight. Rogers, where will he rejoin? Let's find out. Let's go on board with Rogers, shall we, to see where he will rejoin in relation to Cat. So here we go.
Where's the gap? It's just only about moving out.
Yeah, Cat's kind of coming across the club corner for the final time now.
Game on time here for Rogers.
Game on time. I think Rogers is exiting the pit lane now. Cat is just crossing the start-finish line, so he still has track position, Kendrick. 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go on the clock. Here we go. It may be happening.
Game on. It might be. It might as well be.
This might be the day the Swiss driver finally gets a win here at Artito. Can you believe it?
I would love some Swiss cannabis tea at this moment, just to celebrate this moment of time.
3 laps to go at the moment. 3 laps to go. At the end of this one, we'll have 2 more. And it's Rogers at the moment who is in the lead by 7 seconds and eyeing out his first ever win here at Artito. It seems as though Rohe has had a big moment there and he's going to go lose a lot of spots. And wonder what happened there to Rohe. He's gone behind Julia Brown. He was battling against Scooby, so he's lost 2 positions, one to Joshua Lee and one to Julia Brown. So yeah, not ideal. Rohe getting a bit of a more humbling experience this time in race 2, isn't he? And he's lost another position down to 9th.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I don't understand what is going on right now.
I'll tell you what. I'll repeat myself, Kendrick. Rogers is closing in on his first ever Artito win.
What happened to
I know
Vanya?
that's happening.
Yeah, what happened to Vanya though?
Must have had a bit of a connection issue, probably ran off track, I don't even know. This race has been utter chaos.
And as you say that, Tim Stahl is in 10th position, about to get 1 point, but I think he's about to get another more point.
Yeah, looking at how Rohe and...
there's contact there, I don't like that.
Oh my goodness me. Julia Brown getting... There we go. You called it, Kendrick. The bus has found a way through the exit of Chapel, or through the exit of Beckett's rather.
Not yet, though. It's not yet solidified.
Let's not forget, Kendrick, these two had a moment at Monza down the straight. If you remember, going into Della Rocha chicane, hopefully we don't see a repeat of that. The bus around the outside on this occasion, none of that.
But look at that. Cat is just slowly but surely getting even closer to Rogers with a 6-second gap now, I guess. I believe, yeah 7-second gap. 6 or 7. Kendrick, catching is one thing, passing is another, especially when you're talking about Rogers. So, Adam Rogers fighting for his first ever win? Yeah, good luck. As long as he has to fight his own first.
At the moment, as long as Rogers keeps it on the black stuff, he will win this race.
Hopefully we did not jinx that, because I want this guy to win.
Absolutely. I'm pretty sure a lot of people do. He's someone who's put in a lot of practice over the last few seasons. He's done a lot of races. And he's always been someone who's been hanging around at the tail end of the points, but he's never given up. He's kept pushing. He went away for a bit. He's come back. And clearly that break has helped rejuvenate something in him, Kenjay, because I truly believe he's a lot more calm this season. He's not as aggressive. He's not been running into as many incidents. He's got a lot more consistent pace. And look where that's rewarded him. At the moment, he's closing in on his first win with 2 laps to go and a lap to go at the end of this one. And I think, look at the gap. It's back out to, gap's back out to 6 seconds.
What can Cat do at this moment of time? What do you think?
I don't think she can do anything. I think the best for her is just to accept second, considering how the whole weekend has gone for her. The second place is not the end of the world, if you ask me. So
Yeah, that's
as
correct.
we see
And
Rogers,
I would love, even in second place, I would just take it any day.
absolutely.
Any.
Rogers will now go into club corner for the penultimate time as we will now shortly begin the final lap here at Silverstone, Kenjay. This is it. We've waited a long time. One
Just
more
one
lap
more lap to
between Rogers
go.
and a potential first win in Artito Racing. Like I said earlier, this will be an incredibly popular win as we go onto the final lap down the Hamilton straight for the final time this afternoon. No one in front, no one around him. He's got clear track. He can afford to probably just have a nice. We're in England, aren't we, Ken Jake? He can afford to just stop by the road and have some fish and chips with the gap he's got at the moment.
No, if he is clearly Swiss, so he should be enjoying Swiss cannabis tea at the moment.
And you have to wonder, Ken Jake, with all the battling that happened earlier in race one, how much that clean start and that consistent pace over the first 2 or 3 laps, allowing him to build himself that 4 or 5 second gap to not make him a part of that battling trio of cars for second, which was I believe G Cat and NAF from memory. I wonder how, or Vanya Atomic, I believe rather. You have to wonder how much that has played an effect into this, because while those three were battling for the minor placings on the podium, he's been able to consolidate that top spot on the podium as we go now down the original start finish straight into Cops for the final time. That 4 or 5 seconds that he pulled out at the start of the race, Ken Jake, look how that paid dividends for him. Look at the gap between him and second place. That kind of paid dividends for him when you think about it. As we go into Maggots, Beckett's, and
Here
Chapel
we
for the
are,
final time.
third sector.
Yep, well, not officially yet, Kenjek. Remember, the sector line is at the end of Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel, but he's only got 2 more braking zones, Kenjek. Just 2 more braking zones, and he's got his first ever Artito win. What a driver this guy is.
Here we go.
He looks to be. He's clearly been someone who's learned from his mistakes, and I cannot. I've had moments with him in some of the races I've done. Yeah, our co-commentator here as well, a broadcaster, he's had his moments with him, but this guy's clearly learned. He's never given up, and here he is now going into going into Cup for the final time. Rogers, the Swiss driver, brings it around.
Here we
of
go.
All the seasons of hard work, all the practice laps, all the heartbreaks, all the incidents. Forget that. He's got his first ever Artito win this afternoon. Rogers wins race 2 here at Silverstone. Incredible race from him.
Finally.
And I cannot be happier. He's done an incredible job. Cat will find a way into second place. Miko in third. And he's doing donuts already. Who can blame him? Oh my goodness me. Everyone's joining in the party. Miko holds on to that final spot on the podium. Naf in fourth. Scooby in fifth. Joshua Lee in seventh.
I do have a nickname for him. The Swiss Saber has now struck gold.
Absolutely, he has. And Rohey Robinson will gain 1 point on the bus in their championship fight in race 2 of round 4. So not a bad outing for Rohey, but considering his pace, story of what may have been. But Kenjek, I hate to say it, we've got 15 minutes till qualifying. Let's close the show off, and we'll be back again next weekend. Final thoughts on Rogers finally getting his first win.
Swiss Saber.
Amazing. I cannot be happier. And on behalf. Thanks for joining, guys, and I'll see you guys.
Can you repeat that? I pressed the wrong button.
Hydro, who provided us with the second screen. Obviously, our main broadcaster, KJ, and myself, Flying, saying thanks for joining us, and we'll be back again next weekend for. I'm going to have to go look. It's not a smooth transition, is it? Let's see. League info. We'll be back again next weekend for Sanford. See you guys next week. Bye-bye.